platform we chose to use for designing YouthNet is called Squarespace. The affordances that make Squarespace a good choice for this project are: it was relatively easy to create a mock-up of our portal from the ground up in a short space of time. Squarespace can also integrate different social media sites within the design. We were able to use the free trial version of Squarespace to wireframe a prototype and see how some basic social media applications would work. However, over the course of our website development, we came across various constraints of the Squarespace platform. The main constraint is that the service is actually fee-based, and the use of the trial version is limited to a restricted time and set of functions. A social media platform should have more flexible chat functions. For instance, we would have preferred to be able to embed the chat function within the site. Ideally, a social media portal for youth services should also be able to support or link to youth-generated multimedia content, such as videos, music recordings, remixes, or mashups. Squarespace seems to be limited in this regard.
For actual implementation, we would explore other potential platforms for social media portal, such as Howard Rheingold's Social Media Classroom and Collaboratory. Although Rheingold's Social Media Classroom is designed for educational use, it is an excellent all-purpose social media platform that can be remodeled or redesigned to fit general social media purposes. Nicole Pinkard's and Robert Chang's Remixed Learning platform is currently being used to support social media networking for YouMedia at the Chicago Public Library. The platform is accessible and customizable to fit the appropriate content or context. ELG is an award-winning open-source social networking engine that provides a robust framework on which to build all kinds of social environments. Moodle is a free and open-source virtual learning environment system. Although predominantly used for education and course management systems, as a web platform, Moodle supports forums, databases, and wikis, and other social media functions. We could also look at building a content management system with Drupal or Joomla.
When considering the implementation of our service, we looked at physical space, internet access, site access, networking, and the creation of a youth advisory council.
In regards to space, we decided that a physical space is an important part of YouthNet because it allows for teens to gather in person, hang out, and to interact both on and offline. It also allows for offline collaboration on creative products. The space also gives teens access to services and tools and mentors that they wouldn't normally have access to, giving added value to YouthNet. The YouMedia space in the Chicago Public Library is a very good example of this, as you can see from the picture on our slide.
We believe that the internet access policy at our Civic City Public Library would have a strong impact on the uptake of the YouthNet service. After agreeing to a standard terms of service agreement, teens should be treated like adults and be granted filter-free internet access at the library. This mirrors the current policy in place now at the Vancouver Public Library. The formulation of our site access policy included some interesting discussion within the group. The question was, should the teen-created content be publicly viewable, or should it be restricted for viewing to registered users only? teenrc.ca restricts viewing of much of their content to members only. YouMedia content is all publicly viewable. Our group favors a combination of public and private content. That is, the default setting for the forum and chat services would be private, and any registered user could choose to make their post public if they so wished. Our policy would be to protect the user's privacy as much as is legally possible, We would not share personal information except as required by the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act.
Networking is a vital part of social media. The larger the social network, the more valuable it is to its users. This is the idea of social capital. We would like to expand the use of YouthNet beyond just the Civic City Public Library. Part of its implementation would involve the creating of a network of libraries involved with the portal in order to increase its value to its users. This would also ensure that YouthNet could reach a larger audience of teens and would have a larger pool of support staff. We would also need a marketing and outreach plan to get teens interested in YouthNet and to expand the network of youths involved in the program. Fortunately, models for this kind of interaction between youth and media already exist in the forms of YouMedia, Teen RC, and other similar projects. Looking at how these programs and other youth services have been marketed to teens will be a good place to start for inspiration for our own marketing plan.
We believe that it's important that young people have the chance to take ownership of the YouthNet service. In order to achieve this, we would create a Youth Advisory Council. This group would be formed of volunteers and act as a sounding board for library policies that directly affect YouthNet, especially on the issues of library space, internet access, site access, and networking. A Youth Advisory Council would also be useful for learning what services are currently popular with area teens, generating feedback on new ideas and services for YouthNet, and creating a group that could act as ambassadors for YouthNet among other young people.
Finally, some other factors we would address if we were designing a similar project in real life are that we would have to ensure that our program's policies followed our organization's existing policies. While working underneath a larger organization, we would have to make sure we were in harmony with our overarching organization. We would also do a privacy impact assessment, as the Canadian site Teen RC did, before launching their site. And finally, we would create a plan for continual evaluation and development for the service. Publications like YALSA's Teen Service Evaluation Tool will help design effective evaluation strategies. In conclusion, we created YouthNet as a model youth social media portal for our imaginary library, Civic City Public Library. Because of the time constraint, the YouthNet site we created using Squarespace is not fully operational, but it does give a good idea of what we had in mind. Feel free to browse the website further and have a look at our policy section, but be aware that the website is only up until August 26th. The social media we used for our project include all the applications shown on the YouthNet page, such as Squarespace, Twitter, RSS feeds, and blogs. For the creation of our project, we also collaborated on Google Docs and Google Presentations, and used the open source software and free software Screencast-O-Matic to make our presentation. Our group was very comfortable working off of a continual Google document, helping each other with resources and editing. When content was considered complete, it would then be uploaded to the site because Squarespace only allows one registered user during the trial version, so only one person can edit at a time. We mostly used email for our communications outside group meetings, but we did also occasionally use the chat function embedded into Gmail and Google Docs. Finally, we created the slideshow collaboratively using Google Presentations. This was the first time any of us have used this application. It is very simple but effective for what we needed.
Thank you for watching our presentation.